Hey, it's Bitches Get Stuff Done. I am Heather,
I am Blythe.
and we are the two main bitches for this podcast. I've never said that before.
I love it.
It's really new. I'm the main bitch in this podcast. It feels like it's been a month since we've talked, but it's only been a week, Blythe. We've got so much to cover today. I'm just going to go over real quick what we're going to cover, and then I'm going to let you chit chat. My ears ringing. That means someone's talking about me. Someone's talking about the main bitch.
Woohoo.
So we're going to go over national politics first. Then we're going to go over some of our state politics second, and then we're going to go over ways you can get involved. There's so much going on that we can't cover everything. It would be like an 8-hour episode. So we're going to cover what we can, and we're going to do the best we can. And then we're probably going to start recording these podcasts more than once a week, just because there's too much to cover.
Yeah, it's so hard to keep up. I'm behind on everything. I find out things that I should have heard about days ago all the time. So it's a lot.
Oh my God, yes. Oh God, it's my head is swimming. There's so much. Uh, from the Ukraine thing and the Judge Advocate General thing and the Doge thing and the veterans. Oh my God, every day there's so much chaos. It's You remember when we first connected, you and I was like, we need to prepare because Donald Trump's going to come into office and we need to be ready. There's no getting ready for this.
There is no getting ready in resistance. It is just do what you can when you can and survive.
Yes.
And there's not even really any organization to it. Like events happen, things happen, and you share it or you go and you do it. And then it's like it was a year ago and it's a distant memory and we've already moved on. It's just the most bizarre thing to experience.
Oh my God, it's the most bizarre thing to be alive during, right? My kids
Yeah.
keep saying, what a time to be alive. Yeah, you're right. It sucks. I'm glad I'm not a teenager right now.
Oh my God, it would be horrible. And we're all going to have PTSD from it. And what's actually most mind blowing is I feel like we can really get a glimpse of what our ancestors who have done this historically must have felt, but maybe worse. In a
Oh,
lot of ways, we're still luckier than a lot of what happened in the past, which is horrific to say.
true. I do still have access to like a shower. Yay.
Yeah, we have
Right.
food for now.
Right. We still have a house for now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is trying. It's very stressful. I do believe that we can get through it. I do not believe that Trump has the numbers that he needs to have in order to do all the terrible things he wants to do. That's the only thing that's the only thing that lets me sleep, man.
Yeah.
It's so much. Okay, so with that, let's kick off. I'm going to start with national politics. I want to talk about that horrific Oval Office meeting with the Ukrainian president, Vladimir Zelensky. I wanted to curl up into a ball and die. Oh my God, I'm so mortified that that's the representation of the United States.
I think it's important if you all did not know, we are both veterans. I'm an Army veteran. Heather is a Navy veteran. And so watching this go down, I think it's all visceral for anyone. But I think it's very different to see our leaders do this to our allies in such a staged production. Also, it's a little hard because like I simultaneously want to be violent toward the people who are being mean, but also Zelensky is fucking hot. I'm watching him. I was like, damn, not only is he handling this way better than anyone ever, he is smoking hot.
His last name's Zelensky because he's a zaddy. Thank you. Hello.
It was like my brain was so confused. Like, I don't usually think that's not usually where my brain goes. But I was like, damn.
Yeah, no, he was great.
What is happening? Also, he's smoking.
Right. He's that much hotter because he did, in some, at least small fashion, stand up to Trump in a way that no one has ever stood up to him. Probably at least in the past 10, 15 years, at least.
The quote he said about his raising his voice but not being logical, I was like, oh, I think that's probably what did it, right? I'm like, oh my God. That's what I want to do to every MAGA ever.
My God, 100%. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
scooped it out like we've been saying for years. Yeah, that was hard.
Oh, oh my God. And I accidentally caught it live because I just happened to be uploading content at the time to TikTok. And I was like, this isn't live, right? And I clicked on it. I'm like, son of a bitch, this is live. And it was so awful. Every single second that went by, I was like, why are you doing this to us, man? So embarrassing. It got worse and worse and worse and worse.
And it's so obviously staged. And can I also mention, why is Trump now matching the decor in his office? Like, he went from tangerine to now he looks like a lemon. He matches his yellow chairs.
I
Like,
did not notice.
dude, you gotta watch it. Because I keep seeing these like still images, and I'm like, there's a lot of yellow happening, and Trump is part of that yellow.
Well, we know about Vance's attraction to couches. And so
Yes.
now that you're saying that Trump looks like a couch, maybe they have an attraction toward one another. Maybe they're like maybe Trump's trying to lean into Vance and Vance is trying to lean into Trump. There's a middle ground here that maybe we're just not seeing because we're outsiders. Just thinking outside the box or the couch.
Oh my God, that's gotta be it. That's it. That's totally it. And Vance was sitting on like a couch type thing when this went down. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it was so obviously staged. Poor couch.
Oh my God, let's stop talking about it. It's so cringy. I've listened to it like 5 times because everybody's like, listen to this and how horrible it is. I can't listen to it one more time. If I have to see the couch as opposed to Trump's face, I'll have to put it on mute. I can't listen to it one more time.
Just mute it and watch it. Oh, I'll do a video where I talk over it and just I'll add my commentary.
Oh, yes, please. Please do. As a favor to me and generations beyond me. Please do. Okay, so
Okay.
that's it for Ukraine. It was cringy as hell. Zaddy has my full support. I'm mortified. I'm sure I speak for millions upon millions of Americans that they're mortified. Did you have any final thoughts on it before we move on to something else?
I don't know how we are in a place where Putin has his arms wide open to embrace us and we have people walking directly into them. Um, I mean, and that's how the narrative seems to be online. Now MAGA is not just pro Project 2025. They're also now pro Russia and anti Ukraine. And I don't understand how they don't get that, like, Ukraine is preventing Russia from invading the rest of Europe. Like, this is already a world war. It started a few years ago, and Ukraine has been holding them back. And it's so bad. I don't know. No, I just don't.
Not even to mention that we have a treaty that says we will protect Ukraine as long as they gave up their nukes. That's a treaty that's been in effect since Clinton. So
Yeah.
this is not new that they're our allies. We are obligated to protect them. And not even just the fact that they are a democracy and we're supposed to be supporting a democracy. Have they not watched Red Dawn? Am I the last person that remembers this movie and it was the Ruskies that attacked us? What is wrong with these people? They need to go back to the 80s and watch this stuff. In the 80s, they were the bad guys.
Well, they still
Bad guys.
are,
They're
but
still the bad guys.
we're talking about the same people who adore and cherish the Bible, but actively do the opposite of Jesus's teachings. So it's not surprising. You can go downstairs by yourself and go potty. I'm not going to go with you. Just put your phone down. Pause it. Pause it. You're safe. You're safe. You're safe. Go downstairs carefully. You're safe.
Don't turn your
Okay. And this is part of the resistance, parenting and working at the same time.
100%.
I did ask her 75 times before I started recording, do you need to go potty first? Do you need to go potty first? Do you need to go potty first?
No, I don't. It's like going on a road trip. Do you need to go potty? Just go potty, kid.
So yes,
Toilet.
that is all I have on Zelensky and Ukraine.
Yeah. Oh God, so cringy. And I want to think that it's not going to get worse, but I just have no hope anymore. I mean,
oh, it's just going to get worse. And
yeah.
I don't think I should put this on recording, my thoughts of how it will need to end, but it will not end well.
Well, every day I'm hoping for a chicken nugget stuck in a gullet right about here. And big old chicken nugget.
That would be wonderful. That would be really wonderful.
Wouldn't it be?
Yes.
I've always hoped for a stroke because then he's shitting himself and drooling and knows it. But a chicken nugget right here is fine too.
That would be awesome.
Right? Especially if it's televised.
Oh my God. That way we know for sure it happened.
Right? Well, Some people would say, well, it didn't. No matter what happens, people will say it didn't happen. That was fake.
He's still alive. He's still alive.
He's in the bunker. Good God.
Oh,
Some of the stupid shit we have to listen to these days. My God. Okay, so I'm going past Ukraine. I'm going past Ukraine on my list. Doge. I'm going straight to Elon Musk. Tell me what you did with your car.
oh yes. Okay. So in case you didn't know, I splurged. So little backstory. I owned a Nissan Leaf for a while because I thought going electric would be good. Didn't really want to bite the bullet with Tesla 7 or 8 years ago. The charging on the go was terrible back then. So I traded that in for a Tesla Model 3 in December of 2019, which I now deeply regret for many reasons. And it just kept getting worse. And my husband are like, so do we just get stickers to say like we bought this before he was as awful as he is, or before we knew he was this bad? Like, what do we do? Traded it in for a Honda Prologue. Thank God. That is the only redeeming quality of being in a red state, is I actually still got a good value on it for now. So yeah, I am free of Tesla. I have a sticker on the back that says "Fire Elon," and I love it. I got it from Vote Vets, and yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with it.
You know what I like about that story the most is not just that you got rid of your Tesla, but you're not a rich person.
Oh no.
See all these celebrities like, I'm getting rid of my Tesla because they can afford it. Yeah, you can afford to donate your Tesla to NPR. I'd love to do that too. But you're a regular person with a regular income.
Yep.
And you got rid of your Tesla. That's the part I like the most. And I think, didn't you flip it, the bird, when it was leaving?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
The guy was like, do you want to say bye to your car? I was like, if I go near that car again, it will just be destroyed. So no. But we also did a lease this time because, well, one, it was cheaper. Two, I've never done a lease. And three, I mean, if we end up needing to leave the country, then I don't have to worry about taking my car in a few years. So we're trying all sorts of new things this year.
Yeah. On my call earlier today, because we do a Sunday call, a nationwide call every Sunday at 2:00 Central, and they were talking about, one of the ladies was talking about creating a bug out bag. That's how much people are freaked out about what's happening right now. And she's in a blue state, and she was still talking about how to create a bug out bag, where you can find what you need to include in your bug out bag. And to be perfectly honest, I had not thought about it until she said that. But then I was like, geez, she's right. Yeah, you need to be prepared. You need to have all your ducks in a row.
Well, yeah, that's hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's hard. Yeah.
Well,
That should be its own episode. I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I mean, it might come to that.
yeah, I haven't gotten to that point either. I'm not feeling that hopeless yet. I might get to that point. I make no promises to anyone.
Same. I mean, I'm not committed to an outcome other than trying to survive.
Yeah. I mean, and this topic started as Doge, so I want to go back to Doge and talk about how he has started to infiltrate the VA and the Social Security Department, right? And pretty much every aspect of our lives. So it's mind blowing that this unelected, unofficial immigrant from South Africa who left South Africa when he was 17 so he could avoid the draft. Just putting it out there. He's a draft dodger. I know.
Naturally.
I know. It's a shocker, right? But that's why he left. But he is the one that's got his fingers in every single pie in our federal government. It's mind blowing. Mind blowing.
It is. And he can walk into the Oval Office with a jacket over a t-shirt and a hat and let his kid wipe boogers on the table, and Trump does nothing. But Zelensky comes in to do his job and gets treated like a 2-year-old.
Yeah. I noticed that too. Yeah, with that guy that's dating Marjorie Taylor Greene is the one that asked the question about, don't you own a jacket and a coat? I mean, this guy doesn't know his fashion from his asshole, and he's asking Zadaddy if he owns a suit. I'm gonna call him that from now on. It's gonna be Zadaddy. Hello, Zadaddy.
It's so funny. Yeah, baby. Violet. Juice. Sure. Is Daddy home yet?
No, but Zadaddy's home.
He went to go go to the grocery.
Gotcha. Okay, so I've gone over Doge. I've gone over how terrifying it is. Did you have any final thoughts on the douche nozzle?
I hate Elon Musk. I hate him so much. Well, it's like anything else. I don't understand really what's happening and why it's being supported. Could you
I've kind of put that
imagine if
together.
Biden had tried to do this?
I've kind of put it together. So I was listening to this podcast the other day, and they were talking about it wasn't a podcast, it was NPR. They were talking about the WWE, the wrestling people, and how they set up these matches where you always have a good guy, you always have a bad guy. Well, that's reality TV too, right? You always have an antagonist and protagonist. But how much they have to work off each other. And so the good guy knows that the bad guy is going to do these things. And so the bad guy, you can put all the blame on him, and the good guy is just like, I don't know anything, but of course he knows it all. And I was like, that's this, right? That's what they're doing. Trump can put off, oh, the bad guy's over there. He's the one doing it all, but I don't know what's going on. But the whole time he knows exactly what he's doing. He's ransacking the government. He's ransacking everything that has to do with the federal government and our safety nets. And Trump gets to play the innocent daughter. It feels very WWE SmackDown stuff.
Well, he even said that in the Oval Office thing. He's like, "Oh, no, we're going to leave this rolling because this is going to make good television or something to that effect." I'm like,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. He gives up the game. He's so transparent. He gives up the game every single time. It's
Every
always
time.
a reality TV show. Always. Hands down, no exceptions. Ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's insane. It's insane.
We're moving on past Doge onto Jag because I didn't know about this until yesterday and it scared the shit out of me. So I was driving to our chapter meeting in Council Bluffs, and Amicus, I think it was, the podcast was talking about how they fired the judge advocate generals in the military. And if you're not previous military, that probably doesn't mean anything to you. But I cannot express enough how important and shocking and striking this is. The JAG is what tells commanding officers and officers what is a lawful order and what is not that you can give your enlisted service members.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you don't have a JAG anymore to interpret what's constitutional and what's not, what's a lawful order and what's not, then where's the line? Where's that lawful order line? And you and I have talked about this before, about what happens when they start giving unlawful orders. What happens? And I've never had an answer. I still don't have an answer. But when I found out that he fired a bunch of JAGs, I almost shit a brick.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. I missed it. Did you hear anything about this?
No, I didn't hear about it until I think you put it in a group message about it.
I think I asked you. Did you?
Oh, maybe there was you messaged somewhere about it. I was like, I have no idea. I just did a quick Google search. And then I forgot to go back to it because then of course a million other things happened.
Right. No, I think listeners to this podcast may not know that we have different chapters of Bitches Get Stuff Done. We have 6 in Iowa, and we have them sprinkled throughout the United States as well. And an odd number of chapter leaders are either previous military or they are military adjacent. So we have 3 previous military members that are chapter leads right now, myself included. So anytime a military issue comes up, I'm always like, tell me more. Because I'm just automatically, my ears perk up. So when I found out that they had fired JAGs, that is troubling. Because at what point does Trump start to put soldiers on the streets to quell protests?
Yep.
And at what point do those soldiers engage civilians? Because those aren't lawful orders. You can't just put soldiers against civilians. That's not something we do in the United States. But he will.
Oh, yes, he will.
That's terrifying.
It is absolutely terrifying. And the only hope that we have is that they will not comply.
Right. I mean, you are talking, soldiers and sailors are human beings, and they have families, and they have children in the family, there's brothers, sisters, cousins, whatever. You're talking about brother against brother kind of stuff here.
Yeah.
So that's, again, that's coming back to creating like a civil war type scenario. It's terrifying. Beyond words that I can express, that might be my biggest fear at this moment, is that he is setting the groundwork for putting the military against civilian population.
Yeah. Or even one another for not complying.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess he could send, military members to the brig, I suppose, for not complying.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did say that he wanted to drum out anybody who's transgendered, but he has no idea how many people are transgender because, of course, that's not an issue. You know, transgender people in the military are just people in the military,
Yeah.
and it's not an issue. He doesn't know how many there are because there aren't any issues with it. If there were, they'd know.
Yeah. He's the only
So
one with the issue.
yeah, so guys, keep an eye on the JAG. It's called the Judge Advocate Generals. They're the lawyers for the military. Nobody ever talks about them because nobody ever thinks about them because why
Yeah.
would you? But if you get in trouble with the law, you got a JAG officer that'll defend you and one that'll prosecute you, and those are the ones that really take care of all the legal stuff with the military. If they're gone, if that what would you call that? That's a firewall. If that firewall is
Yeah.
gone, we are in deep doo doo,
Yes.
deep doo doo. And there's my concern for this week. That's my biggest concern this week. Maybe we should have like a biggest concern of the week.
My
That'd be
God, well, I guess in this case it is easy to pick one, but it's really hard to pick one.
yeah.
There's just so many.
So many, so many. Oh my God. Okay, well that was my biggest concern of the week for the JAG. So anybody listening to this, keep an eye out or Google search JAG, JAG, or Judge Advocate Generals. Just keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody needs to know about it because it's so very important, and nobody would ever think to think it was that important.
Yeah.
So with that fun transition, let's go on to Iowa. Let's do some state
Woohoo!
politics, right? Oh, so rough week. Strange, right? Crazy. Rough week for Iowa. At some point, Donald Trump decided he no longer likes trans people. I don't know if he ever did, but he decided to target them. And so our governor, Kim Reynolds, decided, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I would like to kiss his ass. And so she decided that she wants to kiss his booty in the way of targeting trans Iowans. So she had some legislation drafted up. I don't know who drafted up, but it was the same legislation in the House and the Senate. And it said that we're going to strip trans civil rights from them, and they'll no longer be protected for civil rights. So, right to a credit card, right to jobs, right to housing, all of the basics that you would think of with your civil rights, those will no longer be afforded to trans people or people who are suspected to be trans. So you don't have to have evidence. You just have to look either too masculine or too feminine, and they can discriminate against you and say, well, I thought they were trans. I wasn't going to rent to somebody who's trans. That was introduced on Monday, went through both subcommittee and committee by Tuesday. On Thursday, we had a House meeting, like a public meeting. By Thursday afternoon, both of those pieces were in front of the Senate on the floor for debate, and the House on the floor for debate. By 4 o'clock, they were both passed. On Friday, Kim Reynolds signed that into law. So trans Iowans no longer have civil rights in the state. And I've never seen an uprising, a groundswell of support for trans community like I did this week for any community. I've been active for 40 years. I've never seen this kind of protest. There were 2,500 people in the Iowa State Capitol, and that's bigger than anything I've ever seen. There was nowhere to walk. There was a line all the way out the door, all the way on both sides of the Capitol, all the way down to the streets. It was crazy just to get in. They didn't care. They did not care. 98% of the people that commented were no, please don't pass this. 2% were pro. And the Republicans decided they wanted to kiss Donald Trump's ass first. And when she signed it on Friday, shortly thereafter, Donald Trump tweeted, I'm so proud of Iowa. It's 100% what she wanted. And absolutely devastating to everybody. Absolutely devastating. I cannot put into words how devastating it was to people to lose their rights. So, I mean, we did what we could do. They didn't care. No, so that's why we started protesting churches today. We went to Representative John Dunwell's church, and that's also Senator, I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head, darn it. But anyway, two senators, it's the same church, or senator, representative, and the senator went out the back door, and the representative never showed up. But I plan to make that a weekly thing now, where we go every Sunday to a church. We'll return to that one next week for sure. But I want to go to a church of someone who has been voting to take away rights and to oppress people in the state from now until the election, because people forget. you've got a part-time legislature from January to May. That's it. And then people forget. If there's an election in November, what do they do? I don't remember. But I mean, they must have been okay. I don't remember. So I want to make sure people don't forget what just happened. It was awful.
Yeah. Do you know, were there any Republicans that opposed any of that legislation?
There were a handful, yes.
Okay.
My representative, Brian
Okay.
Losey, hats off to him. I give him a hard time. I love to mess with Brian Losey. It's kind of a favorite pastime of mine because he won $232 million in the lottery. So that's when he became a representative. But hats off to him. Him and a handful of others did oppose it, but it didn't matter. They have a super majority.
Yeah. Well, I figured it wouldn't matter, but it's good that it wasn't
Every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. It's a cold comfort, I suppose.
Ugh. As
So what's going
comforting
on
as it
there in
gets.
Indiana? What you got to compare with how
Oh,
awful your
we've got
state
some
is?
major school board stuff happening. If you're in Indiana, make sure you're following MAD Voters, madvoters.org. They're on Facebook, Instagram, if you're still on those, as well as TikTok right now. Senate Bill 518 with the IPS schools, they're trying to basically force them to become charter schools. And Senate Bill 2 is also very problematic. And I am totally blank. Oh, yes. This is the one that threatens the health care coverage for more than 750,000 low-income Hoosiers by making extreme changes to Indiana's Medicaid programs, including massive cuts to the Healthy Indiana Plan, or HIP, limiting HIP enrollment, and adding just more paperwork that makes things very hard. So if you're here in Indiana, this is all on the Mad Voters website, but you can call your representative. But specifically, we're asking people to call Chairman Barrett to ask him to amend Senate Bill 2. And his email address and everything are on their website as well. You can also email me if you guys have any questions about that, anyone who's listening here in Indiana. But Mad Voters is excellent. They will give you a call to action every day of someone to call. And we do, I did close it. We do have, even though I just accidentally deleted it, they have an events page as well. And I think most of these are going to be national events. So March 4th, Tuesday, March 4th at the State House from noon until 3. That is the Unite Against Fascism. Oh, okay. I need to start over. March 4th from 10 a.m. until 1 is the Indiana State Teachers Association Day at the State House. Then that same day, March 4th, from noon to 3 is the Unite Against Fascism.
Got you.
Fascism and
I got
tyranny.
you.
Thank you. That is a 50-51, I believe. So that's across the country at noon local time. And then that evening in Crown Point from 4 to 6 p.m., it's a Northwest Indiana Takes Action rally. So if you're anywhere near Crown Point, that's going to be at the Crown Point Square 1 Courthouse Square. That is on the madvoters.org website. My goodness gracious. There is a coffee and legislation chat on Thursday the 6th at 11 at Swizzle Market in Fort Wayne. Stand Up for Science on March 7th at the State House from noon until 2. And then, of course, Saturday, this is the one I will be able to make this week from noon to 4, International Women's Day March and Rally. There's going to be speakers. If you are with the Bitches Get Stuff Done or on our Blue Dot Discord, which we are up to almost 400 people on that, which is very exciting.
Very nice.
We're going to meet at 11:15 at Jack's Donuts downtown, across from the Capitol.
Yeah, and we'll meet here in Iowa. If you are in Iowa, that will be at the Women's Achievement Bridge. So that's International Women's Day, and the Women's Achievement Bridge is right before you get to downtown Des Moines from the east side. So that's at 2:00 in Des Moines. And guess who's a speaker there?
Oh, yay! I can't
Yay.
wait! Yay! That's so exciting.
I might actually have to prepare, which is something I'm not used to doing. I certainly clearly don't prepare for our podcasts.
Well, yeah. Sometimes off the cuff. I mean, again, if we were able to plan this, it wouldn't be happening, right?
Yeah, there's too much to plan. And being a part of the resistance and planning and doing a podcast and doing trainings and doing protests, it's a little much. So
it's a lot.
yeah. So
it's a lot.
We may not have our podcast plan, but it definitely is from the heart for whatever that's worth.
Well, but what happens when we go to record this? I mean, so much is happening in real time. We could have made a plan 3 days ago and still something would have changed.
Yeah,
So,
3 days ago was what, Thursday. So we hadn't even taken away civil rights from Iowans yet.
yeah.
The Zelensky thing hadn't even happened yet.
Yep.
So many things.
Yeah.
So,
It's a mess. So, that's all that I know about currently in Indiana. If you are in Indiana and want on the Blue Dot Discord, it's an awesome. I'm actually really excited about it. It's not super overwhelming, even though there's a lot of people, but there's a lot of collaboration. And we're constantly sharing information and calls to action, things like that, things we can do um, to help push back.
yeah, it's a slow slog. So we've got 4 years. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows you cannot go to everything. You cannot do everything. You have to take care of yourself first and foremost. If you
Yep.
get burnt out, you are no good to anybody.
Yep.
So anybody listening, anybody watching this, make sure that you take care of yourself first and foremost. This is a lot.
It's a lot. And there is rest and resistance. And I'm going to do a shameless plug. I own a business called Bargersville Wellness. I try to do, I was going to do this every day, but it's just, there's too much on my plate. So at least several times a week, I do like 1 minute self-care videos, things to just kind of distract your brain from the reality we are living in.
What does that in wellness entail, Blythe? When you say
Breathing techniques. Lately I've been doing a lot of like facial massage, things like that. Sometimes stretching, sometimes yoga poses.
so, what do you do at your wellness? God, you're the worst at
Oh,
self promotion. Jesus
I do
Christ on a
facials.
cracker.
I do
Here's a
facials
self.
and
I'm going to
massages.
do a little plug here for my business, but then not say damn thing about it.
It's a salon and spa. So my business partner runs the salon. I take care of the spa side. But in practice, I do facials, massages, waxing, things like that. But of course, there's always a boatload of admin stuff, which is,
Par for the course. Yeah.
yeah, not glamorous.
Yep. So with your shameless plug, then I guess I'll do a shameless plug too. I only do this now, so also be sure to go and like any of my socials and support Bitches Get Stuff Done financially. That helps me do this full time, helps me keep everybody posted as much as I possibly can, and make sure you get on our email lists if you're not at bitchesgetstuffdone.org. Do we have any other bad news to share, Blythe?
Oh, I'm sure we could find plenty of bad news, but we do have some calls to action.
Okay, let's do those.
So anyone who wants to, which I highly recommend, if you go to enddei.ed.gov, they do not verify the emails on this, and I used a school district in Washington, D.C. You can basically, they want you to tell on teachers and parents and things that are happening in our institutions that are illegal, discriminatory, or what is the word that they like to use? Indoctrination.
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, oh my Lord, you all are indoctrination. So I just made up some nonsense about Elon Musk and trying to take over the world and indoctrinating us. So that's enddei.ed.gov. And then there's also the Heritage Foundation has a survey out.
The Heritage Foundation, aren't they the ones that are behind the Project 2025?
They are, and they have a Doge survey, which is really weird because Donald Trump didn't know anything about this.
Oh,
So we
weird.
are recommending to take this survey. It's secured.heritage.org/the-heritage-doge-survey. I'm sure you can find it from the Heritage Foundation or heritage.org. But it goes through like, what would you like to have budget cut? Remember, when you're ranking these, 1 is highest priority, 5 is being lowest priority. So like Environmental Protection Agency, you want to give that a 5 because that is not a high priority of budget to be cut. It's very fast. And again, they don't verify the email. So I just put in some dumb name and some dumb email address.
And I want to point out, just for the record, because this is a very important stat to me, you could fire every single federal worker, all 2 million of them, every single last one of them, and you're still only going to be touching 5% of our national budget.
Yep.
So that's what they're saving, y'all. That's it. Nothing more. And they're disrupting hundreds of thousands of lives in the process. If they fired everybody, it'd be 2 million plus. So
Well,
they're
the
tanking the
parks,
economy.
when they fired the people from the parks, yeah, they may have saved that money, but they lost 55, was it $1 billion of revenue or something a year from it?
Yeah.
That doesn't even out at all.
Yeah, we go to the national parks all the time. That's usually a destination for our summer trips.
Yeah,
And
same.
now there would be no one there to let us in and take care of the park. That it's so short-sighted. It's going to tank the economy.
Yep, it absolutely will.
So make sure you support Bitches Get Stuff Done before it tanks the economy. Just
Yeah.
saying. Just putting it
Yeah.
out there.
Use that, but while you still can. And there's
Still
another
liable to.
interesting one. There's a woman, the person I follow on TikTok, her handle is ITS 1984. Have you seen this?
No.
Okay, so I can send you the text, but she made this call to action. She's like, what if we all have the same message to our representatives, and we're tagging our representatives, and we're tagging local media, and we're tagging national media, and we're tagging international media, basically with the same verbiage on, we need to get rid of Donald Trump. Like, he is treasonous. Your support of him is treasonous. We are holding you accountable, like directly speaking to our Congress people. So I did one for Jefferson Shreve, and I also added a call out to do town halls because they've completely stopped doing those. I am at Friends of Blythe Potter on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, and I posted it on all three. But I think that could be a really interesting thing too. It's less than a minute. You can use the teleprompter app if you are on TikTok, just to put the words in there, read it, share it, and tag whomever you can. I went ahead and put it on Meta because Shreve is not on TikTok. Shocking. So that was the only way to be able to tag him, was go to Meta. But it also tries to get into their echo chamber a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's if you. Oh gosh, you probably weren't on my. I've been doing these trainings, these fight trainings for a while, and some of my first ones that I did after the pandemic was those town halls are great to get your representatives, but they will stop doing them. They
Yep.
will change their methods. Once you start getting on their shit, they will stop. So you need to find other ways to protest them. And I believe you should go to their houses and their places of worship and their businesses. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yes, 100%, I agree with all of that.
Yeah, and their offices. And I'm about to do a post. If you think you're going to be a candidate next year, or know you will be, start having your own community advocacy meetings.
I was just seeing this button, and I was like, "What's that button do?"
Oh, your face! I was like, did it stop? Like, what is
Not
going
mean to
on?
interrupt you. I was just pushing buttons. Sorry.
Oh, I don't even know what I was saying.
You were
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about
We
running
can
for
host
office.
our own, like, or ask your Democratic Congress people, even if it's virtually. These don't have to be in person, but trying to start getting community together to talk about these things, even without them, I think could be very valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. Start preparing now. Even if you're just thinking about running for office. And if you're just thinking about running for office and need someone to push you into it, give me a call, text me, get a hold of me on socials. I will convince you that you need to run. We need good people to run that are not psychotic freakazoids.
Same. And it doesn't have to be something that you go all in on. You could literally, and I don't prefer this, don't necessarily recommend it, but you could literally just be a name on a ballot. And if you are elected, your party can caucus someone in. So let's say Heather is a name on a ballot, she wins, but she doesn't actually want to do the job. As the party chair, let's pretend I'm the party chair, totally hypothetical, I can appoint someone else to take that position. So it keeps it within the party, even if it's not her specifically doing it. Um, I actually, the first time I ran, that was my intention. Then I got into it and I was like, well, screw this. I'm going for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope that anybody that runs really does want the seat, because we need people who want the seat, who want to make a difference, and not these assholes that just want power.
Yeah.
That's what we have right now.
Yeah. They have the betterment of community and state and country and global communications and global relationships is not their priority.
Mhm.
Power and money
100%.
that's all their power, or fame. We need to add fame in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Fame leads to power and money, though.
It can. Yeah,
It all
absolutely.
works together. And I would say that that's the reason why Republicans capitulate to Trump, is for more fame, more power, more money. That's
Yep.
the only reason. They used to have at least some kind of moral compass, but that's all gone.
It's very much gone. A few more things actually I forgot about. If there anyone listening who is a veteran in Wisconsin or a liberal in Wisconsin, there's a Supreme Court race that Elon Musk has started to support the Republican candidate for. And I have a connection with the federal VA that she's looking for veterans specifically to write letters to the editor in their area in Wisconsin supporting I believe her name is Susan, the female Supreme Court candidate who is a Democrat. Again, not prepared here. But if you are interested in that, reach out to me either on social media, or you can email me, friendsofblythepotter@gmail.com. Super easy. She's got guidelines for that. I did it in trying to prevent Patel and Gabbard from being elected. I actually never saw either of them published, even though they were, but very easy to do.
Okay, that's Wisconsin.
Yes, Wisconsin specifically.
Okay.
Well, Florida's got some special elections coming up in districts 1 and 6 on April 1st, and state chair elections are coming up. So if you are in the state of Indiana and you have a preference for a candidate for state party chair, which mine is Destiny Wells. I love you, Jennifer McCormick. If you're listening, Dr. McCormick, I love you. But I'm going to back the veteran Destiny. Start making posts about that too. I don't know that we can sway them a lot, but we do not need status quo people taking over party chair again. We need to end that.
God, could not be more true. 100% agree. We've got that here, and they're great.
I mean, they're warm bodies at this point.
Yep.
If you are not going to do, if you are not, well, they don't get paid here, but if you're not going, no, that's not true. State chair, I think, gets paid. That is, I think I misspoke there. I meant county party chairs don't get.
Oh yeah, our county parties don't either, but our state makes a lot of money.
Yeah, I think that is a full-time job. Well, hell, all of it's a full-time job at this point. But we can't keep doing this middle of the aisle. Oh, we're gonna be kumbaya together. No.
Mm-hmm. No. Agreed. It's time to be bitches, people.
It absolutely is.
The time to be nice is over. That's why we are bitches get stuff done, because we're ready to get stuff done, and we're ready to be bitches.
Yeah. Well, and it's meeting the MAGA energy where it is without being violent. You don't even have to curse and yell and scream. It's like what Zelensky did. He is meeting their energy and saying, no, you're wrong and you don't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. He's my zaddy.
Oh, he's so handsome.
Handsome.
He's so handsome.
I agree.
Mostly just because he stands up to the nonsense. Like, I love this. He's so brave. Like, against Putin, he's going to all the, I mean, he's doing the things, right?
Do you know how much physical danger he must be in?
Oh, every minute of every day.
I can't even imagine.
Same.
And he's still that brave to just travel and do his thing to try and save his country. The exact opposite of anything Trump's ever done.
Well, Trump can't enter other countries because he is a fucking felon.
And he's a fucking draft dodger and a fucking piece of shit too. I'm just adding those just for good measure.
But he is. You're right. You're not wrong. He's garbage.
Yeah. Human garbage. Well, on that note, should we wrap up for the day?
Yes.
Oh God, to be done. Oh, human garbage. Oh, or yellow human garbage. Apparently, I did not realize.
Oh my God. Yes, you will.
Yes. So do not forget to show me.
I will do it. I'll tag you in it.
We came full circle here. You see how I wrapped that up?
Yep. Right back to the lemon.
And JD Vance's attraction to couches. See, wrapping it all together.
And you have a yellow stone shirt on.
Oh my God, you're right. Yellow. And I used to work for a company named Schwann's that transferred to a name called Yellow. They changed their name. So much yellow. Okay.
Awesome.
That's it, guys. We will do this once a week for sure, every Sunday. Try to have it uploaded by Monday. Lots going on. I've got 2 more conference calls after this, so it will be late tonight or early tomorrow morning. But there's just too much going on. So we will probably, Blythe and I, talk about how much more we can do. And maybe it might not be scheduled type stuff. Maybe it's just like, oh my God, let's get on and do another podcast because there's so much shit going on. So at the very minimum, we'll have 1 a week. I don't know yet. We haven't talked about it. How often in addition to that, but keep an eyeball out. Make sure you like, subscribe, share. We need all of the shares we can get.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's monetize this so Heather can get some some money back for it.
Don't have a place to live before the economy tanks.
Yeah, we should start looking for sponsorships.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, if you want to sponsor our show, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll figure this stuff out. We haven't done
Yeah.
it yet, but we're going to figure it out eventually.
We are going to figure this out. Awesome. Well, I will see you shortly on our call in about 30 minutes.
Okie dokie, artichoke. Thanks.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.
Oh. Stop recording.